Buying a second-hand bike is one of the best ways to get into cycling, but it can also be one of the easiest ways to end up with someone else's expensive problem. And trust me, I've seen both sides of that. Dodgy listings, weird sellers, bikes that look amazing in photos, but don't quite match up in real life. But I've also had some proper wins. Case in point, this Factor. So with the help of professional bike mechanic Chris Peach, these are my tips for buying a second-hand, refurbished or reconditioned bike without getting burnt. Tip number 1. Where you buy and who you buy it from. Before you even look at a bike, you need to zoom out, because where it's coming from matters just as much as what it is. I'm sorry, before we get into the video, I just want to make one thing clear. None of the bikes or services mentioned in this video are sponsored. Safest option, friends, family, clubmates, people you know, bikes you've actually seen. Next step up, retailers with proper buyer protection, like We Bicycle, Bicycle, Cycle Exchange, and Recycle, who also offer refurbished and reconditioned bikes. Yes, you pay more, but you get inspections, warranty, buyer protection, less risk. Think of it as buying secondhand with insurance. And then you got the WWW, aka the Wild Wild West. eBay, Facebook Marketplace, Gumtree, you name it. Interestingly, this is where I bought the bike. What made it work wasn't just the bike. It was the seller. This guy, legend. Clean photos, proper detail, nothing dodgy. And more importantly, it's the way he spoke, the way he communicated. Super clear messages, no weird evasiveness. No offering me a remote control car for a swap. Good guy. And that's the point here. You aren't just buying a bike. You are buying the seller, their honesty, their maintenance habits, and how well they've hidden their problems. So, you need to check for their reviews, profile history, their other listings, quality of their photos, their response style, and if something's off, it usually is. That being said, now let's get into the stuff that actually requires you to physically be with the bike. If you're buying secondhand, I strongly suggest that you are. Unless you're buying from a safer and trusted reseller who offer buyer protection like the ones I've mentioned earlier. According to pro bike mechanic Chris Peach,
the first thing you want to be looking for when approaching a seller for a second-hand bike is if it's clean or not. A clean bike will show you that the seller is invested in the sale. Clean bike will also show any cuts, scrapes, any crash damage that's on the bike, so it gives you a good idea instantly of the history.
Tip number 2.
Once you've checked for a clean bike, you're looking for frame first always. The frame is the most integral part of the bike because it's what everything else attaches to. All the other parts on a bike are consumables, essentially. They can be replaced. The frame cannot. So on the frame, here are the kinds of things that you'll be looking for. Cracks and dents will be evident around the welds and high stress areas, so bottom bracket and the braking areas. Dents could compromise structural integrity. Paint chips and cracks that may be hiding damage underneath, especially on carbon frames. And then rust and corrosion on metal parts. Check for that white powder on the aluminium frames, evidence of aluminium oxide. It's also handy to check that the seat post isn't seized.
And ask, so has the bike ever been crashed? What's their face? The reaction often tells you more than the answer. Also, fake frames exist. S-Works, Dogmas. Don't forget stolen frames too. I probably ran into one myself. Tip number 3, drivetrain check.
Which is the chain, the cassette, both derailleurs if they have them, chain rings, pulley wheels, really important. First thing to check is the chain on the drivetrain. The chain wears quicker than anything else usually. A worn chain will wear every part it comes into contact with. And then you've got an expensive repair on your hands.
And honestly, checking for chain wear is probably one of the easiest things you can do. All you need is a chain checking tool like this one. Now this is the CC4 from Park Tool. There's also the CC 3.2 which I recommend because it's small. And you can buy it for about £10, £8 discounted maybe. Now the theory behind chain checking is all about placement and numbers. Now, to keep this simple, here's how it works. The CC4 essentially checks your chain at 2 points. You got The center point is your pivot. You essentially put this against a roller, fix the rear end, use your two fingers and add some pressure, and you drop the other end inside the chain. Now, as per the tool, if the other side does not get into the chain, your chain's okay. If you have a 10-speed chain or below, you need to use the 0.75 side or the 0.75 depth to tell you how worn your chain is. If the little thingy goes all the way through the chain, it means your chain's worn, you need to change your chain. Moving on, if you have the 11-speed or the 12-speed chain, including the 12-speed SRAM flat top, you need to use the 0.5 side of the chain checking tool or the 0.5 depth level. And again, if the little thingy goes all the way through your chain at 0.5, you need to change your chain. And this little tool will save you a lot of money. Back to Peachy.
A worn cassette will show shark teeth or hooked profile, and the teeth will be very, very far apart. Shift through the gears and see if they work properly. Does every gear engage? Is the hanger aligned? Is it straight? Is there any damage to any of the components in the drivetrain? This is a good opportunity to have a test ride to see how it shifts under power as well.
Tip number 4, brakes.
There are a variety of different brakes in the history of the bicycle. Rim brakes come in a variety of different flavours. On a road bike, you'll find linear and direct mount. On older mountain bikes and touring bikes and hybrids, you'll find V-brakes and cantilevers. They all basically do the same job. The pads contact the rim, and that's what stops the bike moving. On rim brakes, you're looking for pad thickness, any damage to the pads, is there any excessive or uneven wear on the rims. Check the condition of the cables as well. Pump the lever, see if the brakes are actuating. As technology has moved on, disc brakes are far more prevalent on a variety of bikes, from kids' bikes all the way up to high-end road bikes. Disc brakes again come in different flavours. You'll find hydraulic brakes using a hydraulic system with hydraulic fluid, or some of these can be cable actuated as well. On the rare occasion, you might get a hybrid of the two, where the caliper is cable actuated, but inside is a hydraulic mechanism. On disc brakes, you're looking for pad thickness, the rotor condition, any warping or discoloration, and definitely the feel of the lever. Again, test this on your test ride. The lever should be firm and not spongy. Excessive wear on the disc rotor is a problem. It's normally stamped on the disc. Shimano, for example, is 1.5 millimeters.
Checking for rotor thickness can be done using a tool called a vernier caliper. Of course, not everybody is walking around with a vernier caliper in their pocket, so I got a hack for you. Bank cards, yup. And they have universal standards, unlike bottom brackets or ERTO. Anyways, bank cards have a universal thickness of 0.76 millimeters. Stack two of them together and it's 1.52 millimeters. Perfect if you want to check the rotor thickness of a Shimano rotor. Here's how you do it. Stack the two cards together, compare them against the rotor thickness. If the rotor looks about the same or thinner, the rotor is probably nearing replacement. And if it's thicker, you're alright. Tip number 5, cockpit and bearings check. This is overlooked constantly. Check the handlebars, stem, seat post and saddle rails and look for cracks, slippage, over-tightening marks, crash damage and corrosion to aluminium parts. If any of this is compromised, walk away.
The headset bearings are located in the head tube of the bike towards the front of the bike. There are two bearings in a headset, an upper and a lower. You're looking for any excessive play, just like any other bearing area. With the bike on the ground, rock the bike forwards and backwards with the front brake on. You'll be able to feel any clunking of a loose headset. This could just be a loose top cap, which has introduced play into the headset, but it could be a sign of worn bearings as well. Pick the front wheel up off the ground, turn the bars. You'll be able to feel any roughness or notchiness.
I recently sold my winter project build, an Alley Sprint. I sold it to a great guy. I cleaned it, boxed it up, shipped it off, job done. Or so I thought. He gets it, messages me, headset bearings were absolutely cooked. I felt terrible. I somehow missed it. Thankfully, he was super chill and he got it sorted. And that right here is exactly why front-end checks and cockpit checks matter.
Continuing on the topic of bearings, don't forget the bottom bracket. Same checks here as any other bearing area. Any lateral play, any notchiness or grinding. Good opportunity to test the creaks on a test ride.
Tip number 6.
Inspecting the wheels and hubs is really important also. Why, Keith?
They don't go round, it's not a bike.
Checking wheels and hubs is really important. If there's a problem with the wheels, you're not going anywhere. Spin each wheel and look for side-to-side movement, as this could indicate a buckle in the wheel. Also check for tyre wear patterns. Uneven wear on the back tyre could indicate alignment issues. Uneven wear patterns on the front could indicate problems with the fork. Spoke tension is really important. Check those with your hands. Check for loose or broken spokes. Hub bearings, grab the wheel, check it laterally, see if there's any side play. Spin the wheel to see if there's any rumbling or rough noises.
Tip number 7, inspect first, then negotiate. Now this is where everything comes together, because now you know the truth or the reality of if it needs a new chain, cassette, headset, pads, bearings, all that's money. So now you can say, dude, love the bike, but it'll need a few bits to it. And that's fair. It's not some random lowball nonsense. And finally, always think beyond the price tag, because the real cost involves repairs, upgrades, transport, insurance. A cheap bike can get expensive fast. And yeah, that's it. Buying secondhand isn't about luck. Maybe sometimes it is. But in all seriousness, it's awareness. It's asking the right questions. It's looking closer and not rushing just because something looks shiny. And look, I've had wins. And I've had near misses and proper dodgy ones too. So I'd love to know, have you ever had some secondhand, reconditioned, refurbished bike win or horror story? Or did I miss something that you always check? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to see them.
If you'd like to support our work, check out the merch store below this video or at wearethewildones.com. We got mugs, we got hats, we got shirts, we got backwards hats. We've overhauled the store, added loads of new products, and made it very easy to shop whether you're in the US, UK, or Europe. Thanks so much for supporting us.